Hello students, welcome back to our educational program. My name is Miss Leila and today we're going to discuss episode 6, and that concerns reading comprehension and punctuation marks. The title of this unit is, as we said before, sports and activities. Before we read the topic that we have today, we have a couple of tips. So as we mentioned before, we have to remember that when we read, we have to put in mind reading the question first. Read the text more than once. It's important so we can understand what we're reading. The first sentence of each paragraph is very important, so focus on the first sentence. Underline the key facts and words of the text. So you have to have a pen with you so you can underline the evidence or key facts. That will help you answer your questions. Write your answers in full sentences and clear handwriting. When you come across a difficult word, as we all do, try to guess its meaning if you look at the words from before and after the word, so you can guess the meaning right. Okay, so the types of questions for reading comprehension here, we have many types of questions. We have multiple choice questions. For the multiple choice questions, we would ask, what's the best title or what's the main idea of a paragraph? We're gonna ask you, what is the most, for unfamiliar vocabulary that we're gonna present, we're gonna ask you, what's the closest to the word, the meaning to this word? What's the opposite meaning to that word? We have number 3, word reference. I would give you, for example, a pronoun, so you can trace it back to the word. So locating explicit information that is very clear. Number 5, extracting implicit information, meaning that the information is hard you have to understand the text so you can answer the question. Lastly, we have the purpose of the writer. I would ask you, what's the purpose of the writer? What's the lesson that you've learned through reading this text? And the other type of question, we have productive questions, and that will be, you would be writing the answer. The answer is going to be very clear in the text, or I'm going to ask a question that you have to think about and look for through the text. Now we're going to read about sports and activities. Before we read, let's remember some vocabulary words that we learned today. Name the water activities in the following pictures. Number 1, we have this picture. We have this picture. This is an easy picture. And lastly, we have number 4. So can you guess what I just showed you? Can you name the pictures or name the activities that what I just showed you? We're gonna check the answers together. So whoever said for the first picture is scuba diving, excellent. The second picture is water skiing. The third picture is swimming. And the fourth picture is boat sailing. As you can see, there's a boat on the sea. So which water activity do you like to practice? Why? If you could practice any of those activities, what would you like to practice? So the text we're gonna read is about cave diving. This is personally, I want to practice a water activity. We are going to read a story and answer the following question. Okay, before we read, we have to keep in mind several questions that we will face so we can underline the answers while we read. So I'm going to ask about, what's the best title of the story? The underlined word safety in the last paragraph means what? The pronoun it in the third paragraph refers to what exactly? Complete the sentence. Ahmed went cave diving for the first time. Cave divers hold a blue line under the water to do what? The lesson we've learned from Ahmed's story. What did we learn from Ahmed's story? Where did Ahmed and Yasser first learn about cave diving, and why was Ahmed afraid? So we're gonna read the first paragraph together. So let's begin. Cave diving. Ahmed loves all kinds of sports. He plays in the school football team. His best friend Yasser plays in the team too. Both of them can play tennis. Ahmed is also very good at swimming. So one day, Ahmed and Yasser saw a program on TV. It is about a new sport called cave diving. We have Ahmed saying, I want to try that. Yasser, it looks dangerous to me. Ahmed, I need good equipment and a good teacher, that's all. So paragraph 2. It is the day of Ahmed's first cave dive. His diving equipment is very heavy. He holds a colored blue line to show him where to swim. He follows his teacher. He dives down into a very big cave. Paragraph number 3. The water is warm. The cave is quite dark. He can see his teacher's light in front of him. Then suddenly, he can't see the light. Ahmed is afraid now. Does he follow the teacher? No. He holds the blue line and waits. He waits for 5 minutes, but it feels like a long time. He remembers 2 important things. 1, don't leave the line. 2, don't follow. Think. His teacher comes back. Ahmed is very happy. Together they swim out of the cave to safety. So we finished the story that we just learned about Ahmed's cave dive, and we have a couple of questions here. From A, B, C, and D, choose the correct answer. Number 1, the best title of the story is. Before we answer, we have to understand the main idea is the most important point and summarizes the whole story. So what did you learn from the story, and you can as the best title for the story. So we have several options here. A, all kinds of sports. B, diving equipment. C, trying out new sports. D, Ahmed's first cave dive. So, as I told you before, the first sentence of each paragraph is important, and then there we found our evidence, and that is D. The best title here is Ahmed's first cave dive. Number 2, the underlined word safety, as you see in the paragraph, underlined, and the last paragraph means what? A, risk. B, danger. C, security. D, exposure. So, the underlined word here, safety, means security. Okay, number 3, the pronoun it in the third paragraph refers to what exactly? It's underlined, and the options as well are underlined, as you see in the slide. The options we have A, water. B, cave. C, teacher's light. D, blue line. So as we see, it's a pronoun that refers to a singular noun, and that is the answer here. It's D, blue line. Number 4, Ahmed went cave diving for the first time. A, with his teacher. B, alone by himself. C, with his school team. Or D, with his friend Yasser. So he went cave diving with whom? As you see, it's underlined. The evidence is underlined. It's A, with his teacher. Number 5, cave divers hold a blue line under the cave too. So complete the sentence. A, keep them in the school. B, to help them swim fast. C, carry the heavy equipment. Or D, show them where to swim. So why do cave divers have to hold a blue line under the cave? It's underlined in the paragraph in front of you. The answer here, or the evidence here, is to show him where to swim. So it's D, show them where to swim. Number 6, the lesson we learned from Ahmed's story is A, cave diving equipment is not important. B, we can go cave diving alone without any help. C, caves are always light and there is no need for any light. Or D, we should try out new things and explore the world. So as we learned from the story, the point of Ahmed's story is that he's trying new activities. The answer is D, we should try out new things and explore the world, as Ahmed did. So B, answer the following questions. We're going to write down our answers. Before we get into the questions, we have some tips here. Look at the evidence in the text before you answer. Answer in complete sentences, okay? So number 7, where did Ahmed and Yasser first learn about cave diving? Where did they learn about cave diving? Is it through the computer or the TV or where exactly. Number 8, why was Ahmed afraid? So why was he afraid? So we're going to answer now number 7. Where did Ahmed and Yasser first learn about cave diving? As we show the evidence here, it's from a program on TV. So when you answer, you have to write in full sentence, they saw a program on TV about cave diving. Number 8, why was Ahmed afraid? Why was he afraid when he went to dive in the cave? As we see, we have several evidences here. Number 1, the cave is quite dark, and 2, he can't see the light. So we answer in complete sentences saying because the cave is quite dark, 2, because he can't see the teacher's light. So now we're gonna learn some punctuation marks other than what we've learned last time. Just as a reminder, we've learned the full stop, and as a hint, I would give you a hint. What do we use the full stop for? We end a sentence with a full stop. It comes at the end of the sentence, okay? So these are the other symbols that we are going to learn other than the full stop. Now, just as a reminder, punctuation marks are symbols that are used in sentences. We always see them in sentences and phrases to make the meaning clearer. So in this episode, we will learn about the question mark. So for the question mark, before we delved in, the question mark, when do we use the question mark? To do what exactly? When we ask questions. For example, when I say, what's your favorite color? Should I add a full stop or should I add a question mark? It's a question, so I'm gonna add a question mark. When do we use a question mark? Number 1, at the end of a question. We have, other than the example that I just gave you, we have what is your name? Question, it's a question, so we end it with a question mark. How much did you buy this computer? Question mark. Did you send the email to your teacher? You're asking questions, so a question mark. So now we use a question mark also after a tag question. What do I mean by that? We have some examples here. He is British, isn't he? That's a tag question. It's not a full question, it's a tag question. They didn't win the match. Did they? Question mark. So we also use them with tag questions. We have another function of the question mark is to indicate uncertainty. What do I mean by indicate uncertainty? When you are not sure, you would ask something like, Ali was born in 2003. That's being uncertain. That's being not sure. Is he sick? I saw him going out this morning. So I'm not sure. I would use the question mark. Another function is to, when we use a question mark as well in a series of questions. So for example here, is it good? Question mark. Sweet? Spicy? So it's not a full sentence, it's like a broken down or a series of questions in one line. He's back. Why? Is he okay now? And that use. So in this summary, we are going to summarize what we've learned today from this episode. We learned that we can answer comprehension questions in a reading text. And number 2, we've learned question marks, okay, appropriately, and when to use them. So I hope you learned a lot in this episode, and thank you for watching.